Have you ever wondered why some people effortlessly attract love, devotion, and commitment, while others chase endlessly? What if I told you that you never need to chase? You only need to shift. Tonight, I'll show you how to quantum jump to the version of you they already love, using the Said's manifestation method, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the sleep technique for love that turns imagination into reality. This is not about forcing anyone. It's about becoming the version of yourself that love cannot resist. My beloved friends, tonight I ask you to look within, not to the stars, not to chance, but to the invisible workshop of your own mind. You have been told all your life that imagination is mere fancy, a daydream, a picture without power. Yet I say to you, imagination is the very essence of creation itself. It is the unseen cause of every visible effect. Before a single event takes shape in the outer world, it is first imagined, felt, and accepted as true in the secret chambers of consciousness. The world you see is nothing more than crystallized imagination. Your home, your relationships, your success, your failures, all are shadows cast by the images you have held within. The outer is not separate from you, it is your reflection. Just as a mirror cannot show a face other than the one before it, the world cannot show you conditions other than the ones you imagine and feel to be true. When you truly grasp this, you cease to beg and begin to create. You no longer pray to something outside yourself but commune with the infinite within. You no longer ask, when will it happen? But instead affirm, it is already so. The great secret is that creation is finished. All possibilities exist now. You are not creating from nothing. You are selecting from the infinite storehouse of states, choosing which reality you will awaken to through the act of imagination. Every time you imagine with feeling, you activate a state. You may think it is a passing thought, but your subconscious takes it as instruction. It accepts whatever image is impressed upon it and begins to weave circumstances to mirror that image. That is the law. The subconscious has no will of its own, it only obeys. It is imagination, your conscious awareness, that commands it. So when you imagine yourself unloved, abandoned, or unworthy, the outer world faithfully reflects those feelings. You meet only what you have imagined. But when you dare to imagine yourself loved, chosen, and complete, then love itself reshapes its path to find you. You are not waiting for love to appear. Love is waiting for you to assume its feeling. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are conscious of being. Imagine now that you are the sculptor and your imagination the chisel. Each thought, each emotion, each assumption carves a new form in the invisible clay of reality. The more persistently you dwell upon an image, the more solid it becomes, until the unseen takes shape in time. This is the mystery of faith, believing in what is not yet visible, because you have already seen it inwardly. Think of the architect who designs a home. He may stand on an empty lot, seeing only dirt and air, yet in his mind the structure is complete. He sees the walls, the windows, the light pouring in. He feels the joy of walking through its halls. Though no brick has yet been laid, the house already exists in imagination. So too does every dream you hold. You are the architect of your destiny, and imagination is the blueprint. But imagination without feeling is barren. You must feel the reality of your image as if it were already true. This feeling, this deep conviction, is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you imagine yourself in a state and feel its truth, you set into motion unseen currents that must manifest that state in your world. You may not know how or when, but the way will be prepared for you. Many think that imagination is idle, that it is something we use only for art or fantasy. Yet every great discovery, every empire, every love story began as an act of imagination. The poet sees the verse before he writes it. The inventor sees the machine before it is built. The lover feels the embrace before it is ever returned. The unseen precedes the seen always and forever. If you wish to transform your life, begin by transforming your imagination. Do not accept appearances as final. Appearances are but echoes of past imaginal acts. To look only at what is visible is to live as a prisoner of yesterday. To live imaginatively is to step into freedom, to call forth what is not yet expressed. Close your eyes, not to escape reality, but to rewrite it. When you imagine, do so with purpose. See yourself as the person you wish to be. Speak inwardly as that person would speak. Feel the confidence, the love, the peace of already being that version of yourself. This is not self-deception, it is self-creation. What you assume to be true becomes your reality, for assumption, when persisted in, hardens into fact. There will be moments when the outer world contradicts your inner vision. Do not be moved. Remain faithful to your imagination. The world must eventually conform to the pattern you persist in feeling as true. Reality bends to imagination as surely as a seed becomes the tree of its kind. The kind of seed you plant, that is, the kind of image you nurture, determines the fruit you will harvest. Each night, before you sleep, enter that quiet state where thought slows and feeling deepens. There, in the stillness, imagine the scene that implies your wish fulfilled. Feel it natural, familiar, real. Let it be more than a picture. Let it be an experience. When you awaken, carry that feeling with you. Let it guide your reactions, your thoughts, your words. For as you persist in this inner knowing, the outer must mirror it. You need no special power, no divine permission, no ritual. You already possess the creative power of imagination. It has never left you. You have simply used it unconsciously. Every moment of your life is an act of imagining. To become deliberate in its use is to become master of your destiny. So tonight, do not strive to make things happen. Imagine them already so. The world will rearrange itself around your conviction. For imagination, clothed in feeling, is creation itself, the silent cause of all that is seen, the eternal artist painting existence upon the canvas of time. My beloved friends, tonight I speak of a sacred gate between the visible and the invisible, the moment when the body sleeps but the mind remains awake. In that mysterious passage lies a doorway called the state akin to sleep. It is not sleep as the world knows it, nor is it the full wakefulness of day. It is the twilight of consciousness, where imagination becomes supreme and faith is made living substance. It is here that the seeds of creation are sown. When the body relaxes and the senses fall silent, you withdraw from the outer world. The noise of reason fades, the demands of logic disappear, and you enter the quiet chamber of the heart. In this inner temple, you are no longer bound by the evidence of your eyes. You are free to see not what is, but what may be. This is the realm where all transformation begins. Every change in life, whether of love, wealth, or health, first takes root in this sacred silence. You have been told to visualize your desire before sleep, yet few understand why this time is so powerful. The mind has two aspects, the conscious, which chooses, and the subconscious, which creates. In your waking hours, the conscious mind is busy judging, analyzing, and comparing. But as you drift towards sleep, the conscious mind yields its throne, and the subconscious, pure and receptive, takes command. Whatever image you impress upon it in that moment, it accepts without question and brings forth in your waking world. That is why it is said that the last thought before sleep is the seed of tomorrow's experience. The picture you hold as you drift into slumber is not a fleeting dream. It is a decree spoken into eternity. The subconscious never sleeps. While your body rests, it labors unceasingly to express the image received. It arranges circumstances, inspires others, and guides your own actions to fulfill the vision impressed upon it. So, when you wish to change your life, do not struggle with the world outside. Retire into that quiet borderland of sleep and plant a new idea of yourself there. Suppose you long for love, then imagine yourself cherished, chosen, and adored. Suppose you desire prosperity, then see yourself already supplied and secure. Suppose you seek healing, then feel the ease and vitality of the whole. The outer conditions may still speak of lack, but in this sacred interval you are not dealing with facts, you are dealing with causes. To enter this state, you must quiet the mind, lie upon your bed, and let every muscle surrender to stillness. Breathe gently and let your body grow heavy. Soon you will feel that drowsy, floating sensation when thoughts drift like clouds. In that tender moment between wake and sleep, imagine the scene that would follow your wish fulfilled. Do not watch yourself doing it as though you were on a stage. Be in it. Feel the warmth of the moment, the satisfaction of its completion. If your desire is love, feel the arm around you. If it is success, hear the words of congratulations. If it is freedom, breathe the air of release. Let the experience be vivid yet effortless. Do not strain, for effort belongs to the waking mind. Let the feeling rise naturally, as if you were remembering something already true. When the image feels real and your heart swells with the joy of it, allow yourself to drift into sleep. In that instant, the image passes from the conscious to the subconscious, and creation begins. The next day, you may notice nothing remarkable, but do not be deceived by appearances. The seed has been planted. Invisible forces are already at work. Persist each night until the feeling becomes natural, until you no longer wish for it but accept it as done. Then you will see the miracle unfold in perfect sequence. This practice is not idle reverie, it is a sacred discipline. It requires faith, consistency, and a tender awareness of your own inner world. Many enter sleep filled with fear, regret, or resentment, and so they perpetuate those conditions. They rehearse failure in imagination and wonder why it repeats in life. But you, who now know the law, must choose deliberately. Guard the doorway of sleep as you would guard the gate to a temple. Let no unlovely thought cross it. Enter with thanksgiving and expectancy, for what you take with you into sleep shapes the dawn. When you master this state, you no longer plead with the universe to bring you gifts. You understand that the gift is already within, awaiting recognition. You no longer battle with circumstance, for you know that circumstance is but the echo of your inner assumption. You become a quiet architect of destiny, working in silence while the world slumbers. Do not be discouraged if at first your mind wanders or sleep overtakes you too soon. It is enough that you have begun. With practice, the border between wake and sleep will grow familiar, and you will learn to hold the feeling longer each night. The subconscious responds not to the length of time, but to the intensity of conviction. A single moment of genuine belief outweighs hours of mechanical repetition. In time, you will discover that this simple act transforms everything. Relationships blossom, doors open, and opportunities appear as though by chance. Yet nothing is chance. The world is obedient to the image impressed upon the mind in that drowsy, holy hour. Each night becomes an altar of creation, each dream a step toward your chosen reality. So use this moment wisely. When the day is done and the world grows quiet, close your eyes not in weariness but in power. Enter the state akin to sleep as a master enters his secret chamber. Speak not with words but with feeling. See not with eyes but with imagination. Feel the wish fulfilled and know that it is done. The unseen will take form, and the form will sing your faith. For in that stillness between breaths, between thought and dream, the whole universe listens and obeys. My beloved friends, there is a truth so simple, yet so powerful, that when it is understood, the struggle of life dissolves. That truth is this: you do not travel through space to reach a new reality. You shift through states of consciousness. What the world calls a leap, a transformation, a miracle, is nothing more than a movement of awareness from one state to another. This movement is what many now call a quantum jump, though its roots are far older than any modern term. You do not need to go anywhere. You need only to become something new within yourself. The universe is infinite consciousness expressing itself in infinite states. Every possibility you can imagine already exists, waiting for your attention to give it life. There is already a version of you who is loved, fulfilled, prosperous, and at peace. There is another who struggles and doubts. Between these versions, there is no distance, only difference in awareness. The moment you withdraw attention from one and give it to another, you shift realities. You have jumped, not through time or space, but through consciousness itself. To understand this, imagine a great radio with endless frequencies. Each station already exists in the air around you, broadcasting its song. To hear a new melody, you do not travel to find it. You simply tune the dial. So it is with consciousness. You tune yourself through imagination and feeling to the state of being you wish to experience. The moment the inner frequency changes, the outer world rearranges to match it. This is not philosophy, it is law. When you occupy a state, all conditions necessary to express that state begin to appear. Suppose you wish to be loved. You do not beg for affection, for begging implies lack. Instead, you shift to the state of being loved. You think, feel, and act as though love were already yours. The outer person, the circumstance, The opportunity that fulfills this state must then appear, for they are drawn by the vibration you now radiate. You have not forced another to love you, you have become the self that love naturally surrounds. Every desire is already fulfilled in some parallel state. Your task is not to make it happen, but to select it by feeling it real. When you imagine vividly, you are not daydreaming, you are tuning the frequency of your inner being. Each assumption is a doorway, each emotion a key. To linger in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to stand at the threshold of the new reality until it absorbs you completely. Then the old world, which once seemed so solid, fades like a dream, and you awaken in the new. Do not mistake this shift for mere thought. It is not the repetition of words, but the transformation of self-awareness. You cannot simply say, "I am loved," while feeling unloved and expect change. Words are the garments of feeling. The power lies in being the one who is loved, not merely saying it. You must feel the naturalness of it. The peace, the joy, the quiet certainty that this is who you are. That inner conviction is the act of shifting states. It may appear gradual, yet it happens the instant you assume it fully. The outer expression takes time, only because you have not yet believed it enough to stop looking for evidence. The moment you rest in the new assumption without doubt, the bridge of events unfolds with mathematical precision. The people, places, and events necessary to mirror your new state will assemble themselves without effort on your part. When one truly grasps this, life becomes a joyous experiment. You no longer fear circumstances, for you understand that circumstances are shadows of old states. You no longer envy others, for their good fortune is but a reflection of the consciousness they inhabit. And you no longer seek to manipulate the outer world, for you know that every change begins within. The question is never, how do I make it happen? The question is, what am I being right now? For being is the cause of having. To have love be love. To have abundance be abundance. To have peace be peace. The outer must reflect the inner, it has no choice. The world is a mirror, and the image it shows depends entirely on the face you present to it. Many imagine this shift requires effort, yet effort implies resistance. The true movement of consciousness is gentle, effortless, and joyful. It is not a struggle but a surrender, a letting go of the old self and a quiet acceptance of the new. Like falling asleep in a dream, you relax into the assumption that the wish is fulfilled, and consciousness does the rest. Each night, before you drift into sleep, choose the state you wish to occupy. Feel it so deeply that it becomes natural. Perhaps tonight you desire reconciliation with someone you love. Then do not think of them as distant or estranged. Instead, imagine a scene that implies unity, a simple act like holding hands or hearing their laughter again. Feel the warmth of it, the calm certainty that all is well. As you enter sleep, let that feeling carry you beyond thought. You have shifted. You have leapt into the version of reality where harmony already exists. When you awaken, you may not yet see the evidence, but something invisible has changed. The tone of your thoughts, the rhythm of your day, the responses of others, all begin to align with the new state. Persist, not by effort, but by faith. Remain loyal to the new self even when the old tries to return. The world will catch up, for it cannot resist the power of a consciousness that knows its own reality. So, the so-called quantum jump is not a mysterious event reserved for the few. It is the simplest act of awareness, the decision to feel as though what you desire is already here. You do not wait for it, you become it. You do not reach for the future, you bring the future into now by assuming it as present. And when you live in this constant knowing, the boundaries of time and space dissolve, and life itself becomes the mirror of your imagination. In this understanding lies freedom. You are not a victim of conditions, but a chooser of states. You are not moving through a fixed world. The world is moving through you, changing shape to reflect the vision you hold. To shift is to awaken, to recognize that you have always been the creator, the dreamer, and the dream. My friends, the whole secret of transformation lies not in doing, but in feeling. The great power that moves worlds, that raises the unseen into the seen, is not in effort or reasoning, but in the silent conviction of the heart. What you feel as true becomes true for you, For feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between imagination and reality. Every change in life begins the moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You may think that thought alone creates, but thought without feeling is like a seed sown in barren soil. It cannot grow. The mind may plan, desire, and hope, yet until that idea is emotionally accepted, it remains an idle dream. Feeling gives life to the image. It is the vital spark that awakens the subconscious to act. When an assumption is clothed in feeling, it becomes belief, and belief is creation. Consider for a moment the way a child dreams. The child does not merely think of a wish, they live it inwardly. If the child pretends to be a king, he feels royal, his small room becomes a castle, and his imagination reigns without question. In that moment of vivid emotion, the child is not pretending, he is. The world later calls this play, yet it is the same divine process by which every destiny is shaped. What you feel yourself to be, that you become. So when you desire a change, you must first withdraw your attention from the facts that contradict your aim. Facts belong to the past, feelings belong to creation. The world outside is only an echo of yesterday's emotions. Do not attempt to fight circumstances, for what you resist, you give life to. Instead, rise above appearance by entering inwardly into the feeling of the fulfilled desire. Imagine how it would feel if it were already done. Let that feeling take root and grow until it becomes natural. Suppose you seek love. Do not say, "I wish someone loved me." That statement only affirms lack. Instead, close your eyes and ask, "How would I feel if I were truly loved right now?" You may sense a warmth around your heart, a peace, a gentle joy. Hold to that feeling. It is the key that opens the door. Your subconscious does not reason. It accepts the feeling as fact and begins to rearrange the world to reflect it. The phone call, the chance meeting, the reconciliation. These are not coincidences. They are the shadow of a feeling made flesh. If you wish to be prosperous, do not dwell on debts or limitations. Those are but reflections of an old belief. Feel the ease of abundance, the confidence of security, the gratitude of one who already has more than enough. It is not arrogance but faith, the quiet knowing that what you feel real within will take shape without. When the feeling of wealth replaces the feeling of want, money flows in ways you could not have planned. The heart is the true workshop of creation. Words and affirmations are only tools to awaken feeling. You may repeat 1,000 phrases without result if your emotions contradict them. But one moment of genuine feeling, one instant when you know within that it is done, is enough to change everything. It is not the number of times you affirm, but the depth of belief behind the words. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. It hears no logic, no argument, no denial. It hears only the vibration of your inner state. When you feel fear, it creates events to justify that fear. When you feel joy, it creates events that multiply joy. The outer world mirrors your inner tone precisely. Change the feeling, and the mirror must change. To cultivate this power, practice daily the art of emotional assumption. Do not wait for conditions to make you feel a certain way. Decide how you will feel, and let that feeling precede the condition. Say to yourself, "I am now the person who has achieved this," and feel what that means. Let it move through your body, your breath, your thoughts. Let it color the way you walk, speak, and act. The feeling of the wish fulfilled must saturate you until it leaves no room for doubt. Many fail because they try to feel the result, while secretly believing it is not yet possible. They hope instead of knowing. Hope keeps the desire in the future. Feeling brings it into the present. Faith is not waiting. It is living as though the unseen were already here. When you feel as though your desire were already accomplished, you have already received it. The rest is but the slow unfolding of what you have accepted as true. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig it up each day to see if it has sprouted. He knows that growth is inevitable because the feeling of the harvest already lives within him. So too must you trust the unseen process. Once you have impressed the feeling of fulfillment upon your mind, rest in confidence. Let the world of appearances do as it may. The seed is planted, creation is underway. There will be moments when old feelings return, doubt, fear, impatience. When they do, do not condemn yourself. Simply return again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not effort that matters, but persistence. Each time you dwell in the new feeling, the old one weakens. Each time you imagine yourself already successful, already loved, already free, you reinforce the new pattern until it becomes the only natural state. Then the outer world, obedient to its master, aligns itself with your inner conviction. Understand this: feeling is the secret act of faith. It is the invisible proof of things not yet seen. You need not know how your desire will come, nor when. The how and when belong to the law of life. Your task is simply to feel the reality of your aim until it becomes as familiar as the air you breathe. From that feeling, everything flows. The world must yield to it, for creation is finished, and you are only selecting which part of eternity you wish to express. So remember always, to feel is to create. Thought alone is powerless, but thought fused with emotion becomes the living word. The moment you dare to feel your desire as real, you have already set the universe in motion. Hold that feeling, nurture it in silence, and it will harden into fact, for feeling is the power that calls the unseen into form. My beloved friends, the act of visualizing marriage during the state akin to sleep is not a game of fantasy, nor a pleasant dream to amuse the mind before slumber. It is the most sacred act of creation known to man, the union of imagination and feeling. In that quiet borderland between waking and sleeping, you possess the power to write the script of your own destiny. In that stillness, you are both the author and the beloved character of your own divine play. Whatever image you impress upon your mind in that drowsy hour becomes the pattern your life must follow. When you close your eyes at night, the outer world fades away. The noise of the day, the worries, the opinions of others, they all dissolve. What remains is your consciousness, pure and receptive. The moment you begin to imagine in this state, you are speaking directly to the creative power that shapes your world. The images you see are not idle pictures. They are seeds cast into the fertile soil of the subconscious. What you plant there in feeling will bloom in the garden of your waking life. Many wish to experience the joy of union, the warmth of companionship, the security of love fulfilled, yet they look outward for the answer, waiting for another to appear and complete them. They do not realize that the meeting place of true love is within. Before the outer person arrives, you must first marry the idea of being loved. You must feel yourself already chosen, already cherished, already complete. This inner marriage, once accepted in imagination, must express itself in the world of form. So, when you enter the state akin to sleep, prepare the inner scene as though you were setting the stage for a sacred ceremony. Let your body relax completely, for tension binds you to the outer world. Let your breathing slow, your thoughts grow soft, until you hover between waking and sleep. Then, in that silence, imagine a simple, natural scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. Perhaps you hear your partner call you, my love. Perhaps you see the light of morning touching your shared home. Perhaps you feel the ring upon your finger, or the warmth of their hand resting upon yours. Do not watch this as a spectator. Enter the scene and feel it as though it were happening now. Feel the comfort of belonging, the peace of being chosen, the gentle security of love returned. It is not the details that matter, but the feeling they produce. The feeling is the essence. The picture is only the container. When that feeling becomes so natural that you could fall asleep in it, then the work is done. You have planted the seed. The next day, the mind will try to judge. It will whisper, nothing has changed. Pay it no attention. The seed is buried. You cannot see it, yet it lives. You do not dig up the seed to check its progress. You trust the process of life. The moment you felt yourself loved, you entered a new state of being. And from that state, the world must reshape itself. The person, the circumstance, the path through which love arrives, all these are secondary. They will appear in perfect order as the reflection of your inner union. You may think, but what if I am imagining someone specific? Remember, you are not forcing another's will. You are assuming the state of being loved. The outer expression will take the form best suited to your inner belief. If the one you imagine is in harmony with your assumption, they will be drawn naturally, without resistance, as a reflection of your own change. But if another fulfills that role, it will still be the same essence. The love you claimed inwardly taking shape outwardly. To visualize marriage in this way is to live in the end. It is to declare, I am already that which I seek. This act of faith releases you from the chains of waiting. You cease to long for love because you already feel its reality. The world outside becomes a mirror that must show what you have accepted within. You will find yourself moving through life with a quiet confidence, a natural grace. You will no longer ask, when will it happen? For you will know it has already begun. Each night, repeat this sacred practice, not with effort, but with devotion. The goal is not to force a picture, but to dwell in the feeling. As you persist, the image will grow more vivid, the emotion more real. You may begin to dream of your partner or sense their presence throughout the day. These are signs that the inner world is merging with the outer. Do not chase them. Simply rest in the knowing that your imagination is the womb of reality. Understand that love does not come to those who seek it. It comes to those who embody it. You cannot attract what you do not yet feel yourself to be. When you live in the awareness of being loved, you naturally become magnetic to it. This is not a trick or manipulation. It is the natural law of life. What you are conscious of being, you express. The world is a mirror held to your heart. If doubt arises, return gently to your nightly practice. Let your last waking thought be one of fulfillment. Let sleep carry you into that inner marriage where desire and faith unite. For in that sacred union, the invisible becomes visible. Every night, you have the power to rehearse the scene of your choosing, and life, being obedient, must play its part. The secret is constancy. You cannot plant a new seed and then continue to water the old weeds of fear. Withdraw your attention from the world that contradicts your aim, and give it entirely to the inner reality you have chosen. The more you dwell in it, the sooner it will become natural, and when it becomes natural, it must appear. So let every night become your chapel, every imagination your prayer. As you lie in stillness, close your eyes and see not what was, but what is. The completed desire, the fulfilled love, the marriage already accomplished. Feel it until your heart overflows with peace. Then let sleep take you, for sleep is the bridge between imagination and fact. When you awaken, walk in the joy of the answered prayer, and soon the invisible union will stand before you in flesh, as the perfect reflection of the vision you held in faith. My friends, there is a sacred art in this world that few have mastered, yet it is the key to all manifestation. The art of ours persistence in the assumption. The unseen power that shapes destiny is not found in momentary flashes of belief, but in the steady, unwavering conviction that what is imagined and felt as true must one day appear. The truth is simple: that which you assume and persist in assuming will harden into fact. The outer world is but the reflection of your sustained inner state. Every man and woman moves through a sea of infinite states. You may pass from wealth to poverty, from loneliness to love, from obscurity to recognition, not by external effort, but by inner persistence. The secret is not in wishing, but in as remaining. The mind may wander, the senses may deny, the world may contradict, yet the faithful heart holds its course. The one who persists, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, becomes the master of circumstance. To persist in assumption means to dwell continually in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not a fleeting thought before sleep, nor a casual daydream when times are calm. It is a living state, carried through the hours of the day like a secret flame. It is to walk through life clothed in the invisible garment of your desire realized. You do not wait for proof to believe. You believe until proof arrives, and when it does, it feels as natural as breathing. At first, this persistence may feel like a struggle. The outer world will mock you. It will present facts that contradict your inner conviction. You will hear voices of doubt, within and without, whispering, "Be reasonable, look at what is." But reason belongs to the past, faith belongs to creation. The world you see now is but the shadow of yesterday's assumptions. To persist is to stand unmoved amid appearances, knowing that they are but echoes of an old belief now fading away. Let us take an example. Suppose you desire reconciliation with one you love. The world tells you they are gone, indifferent, perhaps with another. But within yourself, you choose a different reality. You close your eyes and feel the warmth of their presence, the comfort of unity restored. Each time doubt arises, you return to that feeling, calmly, persistently, until it becomes natural. You do not chase them in the outer world, you remain faithful to the inner union. In time, life must rearrange itself to reflect your new state. You may receive a message, a call, a chance meeting, and when it happens, you will recognize it as the harvest of your persistence. It is not the strength of a single act that creates the miracle, but the constancy of conviction. The mountain is moved not by one blow of the hammer, but by the endless rhythm of faith striking the unseen stone. Every moment you hold fast to your assumption, you are carving a new pattern in the substance of life. The longer you remain faithful to that pattern, the more solid it becomes, until the outer world cannot help but take its shape. The temptation to give up will come. The senses will cry out for evidence, the intellect will argue for logic. Yet the moment you look for proof, you admit doubt. The seed cannot sprout while it is constantly uprooted to check its growth. Trust the law. Once the feeling of fulfillment has been accepted, let it rest. Live as though it were already done. When your mind drifts back to the old state, gently return it to the new. You need not struggle, simply remember. Each remembrance strengthens the new reality and weakens the old. Persistence is not tension, it is quiet assurance. It is not shouting affirmations into the void, but silently knowing that creation is complete. It is not pleading with a distant power, but recognizing that the power is within yourself. When you feel discouraged, remind yourself that delay is not denial. The world is adjusting itself to your new assumption. Invisible threads are being woven. Unseen hearts are being stirred. Paths are being prepared. All you need do is remain faithful until the unseen becomes seen. To persist is to fall in love with the unseen. It is to wake each morning and walk through the world as though your wish were already fulfilled. It is to see through appearances and hold fast to the invisible truth. Every smile, every gesture, every word of yours must carry the quiet confidence of one who knows the end is certain. Others may not understand you. They may call you dreamer, fool, or idealist. Let them speak, for in time they will witness the harvest of your faith and call it fate. The beauty of persistence is that it refines the soul. It teaches patience, strengthens faith, and deepens understanding. Each moment you resist the urge to doubt, you build spiritual muscle. Each time you choose belief over appearance, you prove your dominion over circumstance. The one who persists becomes calm, for they no longer fear the storms of life. They know the outcome is already secured in imagination. The persistence of assumption is the persistence of love. You remain loyal to the image of what you love, even when it is unseen. The world teaches conditional loyalty, to believe only when you see. But creation demands faith, to see because you believe. You must love your ideal enough to remain faithful to it, even in the darkness, even in the silence. That fidelity is the power that brings it to life. In the stillness of night, when you lie between wake and sleep, reaffirm your assumption. Feel the reality of it again. Let that feeling carry you into dreams. Each morning, rise and act from that state. Do not pretend to be. When doubts arise, do not fight them, replace them. When discouragement whispers, smile inwardly and say, "It is already done." For it is done the moment you accepted it as true. There will come a day when you will look back and realize that persistence was not hard work, but divine trust. You did not struggle against the current. You flowed with the law of creation. What seemed impossible became inevitable. And you will understand that every fulfilled desire was born not from effort, but from quiet, unshakable persistence in the assumption of its reality. For the outer world forever bends to the heart that will not let go of its vision. My friends, faith is the silent architect of all creation. It is not a thing to be attained, for you already possess it. You exercise it every moment of your life, whether knowingly or not. To have faith is not to struggle to believe, but to rest in the quiet certainty that what you imagine is already true. Faith is the inner assurance that the unseen is more real than what your eyes behold. It is the bridge between idea and fact, the invisible force that compels the outer world to yield to your conviction. When you understand this, you will see that all of life is faith in motion. You believe the sun will rise, and it does. You believe your feet will carry you, and they do. You believe your words will be understood, and they are. Every act, every choice, every moment is an expression of faith in something. The difference between those who live in harmony and those who live in struggle lies only in where they place their faith. One puts faith in appearances, the other in imagination. One reacts to what seems to be, the other creates what must be. To live by faith is to live by the unseen law that governs all things. It is to know that every event, every condition, every relationship is born first in consciousness and then made visible in form. You may not yet see the harvest, but if you have planted the seed, it exists. The farmer does not doubt the invisible growth beneath the soil simply because he cannot see it. He rests in the quiet, knowing that the law of life will fulfill itself. So too must you trust the law of assumption, for what you have felt and accepted as true must one day be revealed in time. Faith begins where effort ends. The moment you stop trying to make something happen and instead assume it has already happened, you move from hope to faith. Hope is a longing, faith is possession. Hope waits for proof, faith knows no delay. The one who hopes is always reaching for the future, but the one who believes lives as though the future were now. When you persist in that state of inner knowing, the world must conform. The outer is but the servant of the inner conviction. Consider the act of planting a tree. The seed is small, invisible to the eye once buried. Yet the wise gardener waters the ground, tends the soil, and shelters it from harm. Why? Because he believes the tree already lies within the seed. Though he cannot yet see it, he feels its certainty. That feeling of knowing, that quiet confidence, is faith. So too must you care for your inner vision. Once you have planted the seed of your desire in imagination, tend to it with faith. Do not expose it to the harsh light of doubt. Do not dig it up with impatience. Nurture it in silence until it breaks through the surface of time. To replace effort with faith is to surrender the struggle of how and when. The how and when belong to the unseen intelligence that governs creation. Your task is only to hold the end, to remain faithful to the vision already complete in imagination. When you assume your wish fulfilled and live from that feeling, you have done all that is required. The rest unfolds naturally through the path of least resistance. People, circumstances, and opportunities will arise as though by coincidence, yet all will be the outpicturing of your inner conviction. Faith does not beg. It does not plead with some distant power to intervene. It claims the truth and rests in its certainty. The one who believes does not look for signs, they create them. The world mirrors the tone of their inner certainty. When you live in faith, you do not chase after proof. Proof comes to you. The very atmosphere of your being changes. It radiates confidence, peace, and quiet power. Others sense it without knowing why. They respond to you differently because your vibration has changed. When the mind is filled with faith, fear dissolves. Fear is simply faith inverted. Belief in the power of the negative instead of the positive. The same energy that could create abundance is turned toward imagining loss. The same imagination that could summon love is used to picture rejection. You are always believing in something, and the world reflects the object of your belief. Change the direction of your faith, and you change the world you experience. It is not enough to declare faith with words. You must feel it in the depths of being. True faith is not loud, it is serene. It does not shout affirmations into the void, but whispers. It is done in the stillness of the heart. It does not rely on the approval of others, for it needs no validation. It is the silent knowing that creation is finished, and that your role is simply to select which aspect of that completion you will experience. Each night, before you sleep, enter into this stillness. Feel the reality of your fulfilled desire and let that feeling sink deep into your heart. As you drift towards slumber, imagine the scene that would follow the fulfillment of your wish. Do not strain to see it clearly. Simply feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude. When you awaken, carry that feeling with you through the day. Let it guide your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. If the outer world shows contradiction, remain unmoved. Do not wrestle with appearances. Smile inwardly and remember that the seen is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. Faith is not blind, it is vision. It sees beyond the veil of appearances into the reality of imagination. It knows that all things exist now, and that your acceptance of a thing as true brings it forth into form. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen hand that writes destiny in silence. When you understand faith in this way, life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a revelation. You stop trying to fix the world and start transforming the self. You realize that every outer change begins as an inner act of belief. The world may call it coincidence, luck, or chance, but you will know it as the law responding faithfully to your conviction. So let your faith be unshaken. Let it lie not in words but in feeling. Let it move through every breath you take, every thought you think, every vision you hold. Believe in the reality of your unseen desire until the world itself bends to acknowledge it. For faith, when it replaces effort, becomes the effortless movement of creation, the eternal whisper that says, "It is done." Oh, my friends, there is a mystery in life that few understand, yet it governs every relationship, every bond, every form of love you have ever known. That mystery is this: love does not respond to your words, your actions, or your longing. It responds only to your identity. You are not loved because of what you do, but because of what you are conscious of being. The outer world is only a mirror held up to the inner concept you hold of yourself. Change the image within, and the reflection must follow. If you believe yourself to be unloved, life must echo that belief. It cannot do otherwise. If you feel ignored, you will meet those who overlook you. If you feel unwanted, you will encounter rejection in many forms. These experiences are not punishments, they are reflections of your own self-concept. The world is an obedient servant. It can only show you who you believe yourself to be. Yet the moment you change that belief, the reflection changes with it. Love responds only to the vibration of being loved. You cannot attract affection while identifying as one who is lacking it. You must first become love's equal, its natural companion. This is the secret behind every true transformation in relationships. You do not command another to love you. You awaken the state of being loved within yourself, and the world adjusts accordingly. You are not drawing someone toward you by force. You are becoming the self that love already surrounds. So when you wish to experience the devotion of another, you must begin not by looking outward, but inward. Ask yourself, what am I feeling about myself right now? The answer to that question reveals the root of all that follows. If you see yourself as unworthy, no amount of outer effort can sustain affection. But if you see yourself as valuable, radiant, and deeply desirable, love must find you, for it is your reflection. The change does not begin with another. It begins in the silence of your own heart. To embody love, you must first know what it feels like to be loved. Do not think of love as something to receive. Think of it as something you already are. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as one who is adored. Feel the calm certainty that you are chosen, cherished, safe. Do not strain to picture a face or name. The essence of love is enough. Feel its warmth flowing through you until it becomes your natural state. When you rise from this meditation, carry that feeling with you. Walk as one who is loved. Speak as one who is secure. Live as one who is complete. The world will respond to that new tone, and people will be drawn to it without knowing why. This inner work is not pretending, it is creating. Pretending implies effort. It says, I am not this yet, but I will try to act as if I were. Creation says, I am this now. There is a profound difference. The first keeps the desire in the future. The second brings it into the present. Love answers only the second voice, for it recognizes itself. Consider a mirror. If you stand before it frowning, you cannot command the reflection to smile. To change the image, you must first change your own expression. So it is with life. The outer reflection will not show love until you radiate love inwardly. You cannot deceive this law, for it is absolute. Every feeling you hold about yourself is quietly projected outward and returns multiplied. If you hold the feeling of being unwanted, you will meet those who confirm it. But the moment you assume the feeling of being loved, even before any evidence appears, you have set a new reflection in motion. You may wonder, how can I feel loved when the world shows me otherwise? The answer is faith. Faith is not blind hope, it is inner knowing. It is the quiet assurance that what you feel within must one day take form. You are not required to see proof immediately. The outer world takes time to reorganize itself. Persist in the new feeling long enough, and the reflection must appear. Just as the seed needs time to break the surface, love too requires faith in its unseen growth. When you understand this, relationships lose their power to wound or confuse you. You no longer chase love or fear its loss. You know that love flows from within, not from another. The one who seems to love you is only playing the role assigned by your consciousness. If you wish to change the play, change the role you are embodying. Become the one who is loved, and the actors in your world will change their lines accordingly. Do not confuse this with arrogance. To feel loved is not to boast or demand. It is to rest in peace. The one who truly knows they are loved needs no proof. They do not cling, plead, or fear abandonment. They move through life in quiet confidence, knowing that love is their birthright, not a privilege to be earned. That certainty is magnetic. It draws affection naturally, without manipulation or struggle. When you practice this nightly, especially before sleep, you strengthen your new identity. As you lie in stillness, let the body relax and the senses fade. In that twilight of awareness, imagine the feeling of being deeply loved. Hear words of affection. Feel the embrace of someone who cherishes you. Sense the warmth of companionship. Do not analyze the scene, live it inwardly. Fall asleep in the assumption that this love is real. When you awaken, move through your day as if the prayer has already been answered. Persist in this inner state and watch how life responds. A friend may call, a stranger may smile, a relationship may rekindle, or a new one may arise. Each event is the echo of your inner transformation. Do not attribute it to luck or coincidence. Nothing in your world is accidental. Everything bends to the self-concept you hold most persistently. Love is not something to seek, it is something to recognize. It has always been present, waiting for you to become aware of it. When you assume the identity of one who is loved, you tune your consciousness to that eternal vibration. From that moment, every corner of the universe begins to reflect it. People sense your new energy. They respond with warmth, kindness, and admiration. What once seemed distant becomes effortless, for you are no longer chasing love, you are being it. Remember always that love responds to identity. The way you see yourself determines how life sees you. If you wish to be the beloved, begin now to feel as the beloved feels. Let that feeling live in your heart, steady and unbroken, until it becomes your nature. Then you will discover that love was never something to attain. It was the truth of who you were all along. My beloved friends, you have now heard the sacred rhythm that flows through every lesson. The same eternal truth spoken in many forms. Whether it be imagination, the state akin to sleep, the act of feeling, the quiet persistence of faith, or the awareness of being loved, all point to one law, one source, one power that dwells within you. The outer world is not a creator, it is a mirror. It faithfully reflects the image impressed upon it by your inner state of consciousness. To change life, you must first change the self you believe yourself to be. All that you seek already exists within the vast field of consciousness. Every desire, love, peace, abundance, healing, recognition, is not something to chase, but something to awaken. You are not here to beg for what is already yours, but to remember it. The moment you claim it inwardly, feeling it real, the unseen begins to move. What was once invisible begins to take form. The law is precise and unerring. As within, so without. Imagination is the creative center of life. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is its heartbeat. Faith is its breath, and persistence is its rhythm. When these work together, nothing is impossible. You need no special gift, no ritual, no approval from another. You are already the operant power. The same energy that turns thought into form, dream into fact, and love into life itself flows through you even now. You have only to direct it consciously. Each night as you drift into sleep, remember that this sacred state is your workshop of creation. Close your eyes, not in weariness, but in power. Imagine the scene that implies your desire fulfilled. Feel it natural, familiar, real. Let the feeling carry you into rest, and let rest become creation. Every morning, rise and walk in the confidence that what you accepted in imagination will unfold in time. Do not seek signs, be the sign. Do not wait for proof, so live as proof. Speak, act, and think from the end, not toward it. Know that delay is only the world adjusting itself to your inner assumption. Be patient, be steadfast, be faithful, for the world must answer the tone of your belief. And above all, remember that love is the foundation of this law. Love is not a reward for worthiness. It is the essence of being itself. To love is to recognize the divine within yourself and within all. When you see from love, all things align with harmony. So let this truth become your living practice. Imagine boldly, feel deeply, believe faithfully, persist quietly, and love unconditionally. For life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. You are both the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the creation. And when you awaken to this, you will see that heaven was never a place to reach, but a state of consciousness to remember. Here, now, within you.